No evolution can take place, no invention, no new ideas can come unless interactions between civilizations take place. And it is these barriers that I think the DHF is trying to break, and was also the reason that we started the Deccan Heritage Foundation, because at least I felt that this was an area where, in fact, civilizations had a constant dialogue. And I always loved that since my childhood, to engage with various cultures.
One of the core objectives of this, of the DHF initiative at Jayalakshmi Vilas Mansion is education. Education in various aspects, education in conservation, education in history, education in... But it has always been, we have internally DHF trustees and the whole executive team, and whomever we meet, we have always been discussing about how we are not able to address things in a holistic manner.
And for me, the Deccani Studies is not to look at slides on the wall. For me, it's to physically experience the site. You cannot understand architecture unless you walk in it, you experience it, you live it. So that's what I wanted the students to experience, these amazing, wonderful monuments that you have, which are all different, and they all give you a different sense of architecture, but they're all beautiful. And they're all unique as well, because there are so many things that are originate in the Deccan. And so with Harish, we went to Ashoka University, and we talked about the possibility of having a course. And the Qadiri Sufis were the ones that were found, that were in...
When I started reading about the Deccan, I just realized that despite having lived in India for so long, how little I knew about it. To plug the gap, I thought we must do something about it. So with that in mind, we set up a Deccan Studies program in collaboration with Ashoka University, Shivnadar University, Mysore University, invited students to come join a month-long trip exploring and discovering and studying, along with experts brought in from different parts of the world, actually, and discover for themselves the magnificence, the beauty of all the Deccan history and heritage.
That this program would be happening and taking me to places around the Deccan, and it would be fieldwork based. And that is something I highly value. And learning in the presence of scholars' insights is one of the best ways to learn. And on top of that, I think incorporating a landscape-based approach is something what this program does, and not just visiting sites, but understanding how they interact with their surrounding landscapes is something that sort of made me choose this program.
Silt in the tank, they will collect the silt and they will add jute to it and rice husk and then burn it. at a particular temperature.
Put it in a mold. take it out.
Mold it and then burn it. The same thing might have been processed here with the same raw material, that is the tank silt with jute, then rice husk, and they might have used some organic resin. Organic resin. Organic resin means when you burn it, it will get vaporized.
So that means Kakatiyas were predominantly Telugu speaking, and we are going to see one of the such inscriptions which has become the basis even to define a lot of Kakatiya culture.
The reason I joined this program was because Deccani history is not given enough focus, especially if you are from the north and you study in the north. So it was something which was very new for me and something that is also not my research area.
So when I first read the pamphlet about the Deccan Heritage Program, the word that caught my eye was Hyderabad. And looking at my own city through an academic lens, because I've always looked at it as someone who's been here. So looking at it through an academic lens interested me. And since childhood, I've been interested in monuments, visiting monuments, learning about them. So I think the combination of the two sort of made me enroll for the program.
So what I've been mostly interested is also something along the lines of, say, trade and movement and mobility of people and even objects. And then also how, different kinds of cultures speak to one another. It's not like at this point the identities are rigid and people have very strong binaries. I mean, people from all over the world are coming and interacting with one another. So that kind of an interaction is something I would be more open to studying about.
I have a specialization of art history, but I wanted to see what do architectural historians think of it, or how are archaeologists looking at the very same temples that I am, and what are they seeing? And that has been a very, I think the word I would use is, it's expanded my world.
So there was stories in every building. I mean, it was very interesting to see how buildings were constructed in the past and how buildings are the only remaining physical attributes of our ancient past. For me, even now, every building what we do is actually a discovery. It's like a human body you dissect, try to understand, and you'll always find new things.
Okay, so this place, much before there were any temples, before any such structures existed, people here were using stone to create monuments, and they are called the megaliths, and they were commemorated. So all the megalithic sites are basically commemorating dead people.
I think the Deccan also has a unique culture that speaks a lot to how many different communities have come into India, situated themselves here. And I think every site we've gone to, it really emphasizes how as each dynasty came to power, they themselves are looking back into the history of the region. At this particular moment, in many places, actually, history is being used in certain ways to say that certain communities acted one way in the past, and that means that they are fixed also in our present. And here, looking at the example of the Deccan, I think it really upends a lot of assumptions people had about the history of India and the different interactions among communities.
And literally, here you had the Jingama of the Lingayats on one side and the Sheikh on the other, and they were reciting concurrently shlokas and the Quran. Well, I mean, what else can you have which is more inclusive?
The passion of Dr. Helen, that is what drives me through every day. Like that is the kind of passion I crave to have in order to pursue my goal of being an archaeologist in the future.
And I think another experience that has been with me is all these 2 weeks at Jayalakshmi Vilas Mansion, and the learning that we have been given from all the 4 teams: the accessioning team, the collections team, the art conservation team, and the architecture team, and the fact that we've been exposed to hands-on work by all these teams, and it was a joy to witness all these teams working together and trying to give fundamental knowledge to us about museums that we had never really learned before.
So I really hope that with time, this will become a project that will be institutionalized, and we'll be able to repeat it every year with different students in different parts of the Deccan. There are so many parts of the Deccan that we have not touched as yet.
Does anyone have a drawing they want to share, or shall we just look at each other?
We mean what we do as the Deccan Heritage Foundation. We love what we do. We love the cultures that we have engaged with. And I think all the people that we've asked to come are very, very keen to be part of this effort.
I got to know of UNESCO process, and this is around the same time as Ramappa in Warangal. So we should do something. So I decided then only that when I get back, I should do something. Now, what is the lesson here? I was 3 years, 4 years, we were trying systematically. So politics is working, diplomacy is working. Okay, let's do that also. So this is a very important thing in cultural heritage. It has to be proper, it has to be technical, but there is a lot of diplomacy, a lot of politics in the heritage. Please learn at a young age. Otherwise, you get confused, you get frustrated, why this decision is not happening, why this decision is happening. Because cultural heritage is many places, is a central to the way of life, and it will, whether you like it or not, it will be part of the politics. No, exposing the youngsters is important because they will be the real future leaders of heritage in India. Because state governments and Indian government in the coming decade or two will spend a lot of money on heritage. But we don't have capacities. We don't have good courses. We don't have enthusiasm. So this course is a beginning, and this initiative of Deccan Heritage Foundation is a very good initiative to expose them early, that they in future do PhDs or specialized work in various aspects of built heritage and and other parts of heritage restoration and art restoration and all kinds of areas you have. So there is a lot of scope for these youngsters in future.
Shall include weaving of Jaitar cotton, kasuti embroidery techniques, pottery and garland tying from local flower varieties such as the jasmine and chrysanthemum, which he mentioned before. And this is inspired from the Jamtili Museum in Sweden, which uses a lot of these interactive workshops. And the museum that we propose shall host these regular community exhibits, oral history nights and heritage walks curated by the experts, the local experts.
What is it that's specifically going to be your USP at Hazara Rama Temple? That more information on that would actually help your phase 1.
And I would be presenting on the ecocultural tourism in archaeological landscapes, a specific case study of the Hiribenekal megalithic site. And there's a wider applicability of this framework to other sites, not just in this area. For example, Sanganakallu and Kubgal, both of which are in the vicinity of Hiribenekal.
I like the fact that you decided to look at it at a small scale. The fact that, it's not at such a large level and very doable.
I think we should definitely do this over and over again. I think it's a great experience for people to learn about history, and it's very accessible to those who also don't perhaps have that technical background in history as others may do. And more than that, I think it's a great space to get a lot of students together in close proximity and force them to talk to each other, and it's a great space to make friends as well. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Jia and this is Amya. We're from Ashoka University. and we'll be presenting on the Golconda Fort today and how to make it a more ecologically, culturally viable space.
And they definitely would be able to use the accessibility facilities if they are properly incorporated.
But this aspect of community involvement is absolutely key to making anything sustainable. Otherwise, it becomes an object on a pedestal in a glass case, which people are eager to vandalize.
This has been so much more than just traveling. I've met amazing scholars and amazing peers from across the world, and I've learned and seen so much that it's definitely left an imprint in my mind. The kind of experience, exposure, and just memories we've made is something that should be accessible to most students. And yeah, it's not just about history. What I really liked is the interdisciplinary aspect of it. We learned so much about the people, the art, and also about economics as well, and how to make our dreams come true on ground. So.
And there is tremendous tourism potential, which will in turn generate employment, generate really, building of hotels, restaurants, travel. So it'll be very good for the economy. It'll be very, very good for spreading awareness and in general uplifting the entire story of India.